This is the Amazfit T-Rex 3. Now, recently we had a look at a lot of Huawei's new smartwatches, and in every single comment section, everybody was always speaking about the Amazfit watches. So, I just had to pick one up and test it out for myself, especially because I do love fitness. I love being active. I've done adventure races, I've done CrossFit, I love running and I love being active. So I thought to myself, why not just dump the Apple Watch, get myself the T-Rex 3 and switch over to something that's really nice. Can you get on my freaking wrist? This isn't a watch strap problem, by the way. This is just a me problem. By the way, I love this orange colorway. You get other colorways as well. However, the orange is nice, and the watch face and it. We'll get into it. Now, a lot of people have been calling the Amazfit T-Rex 3 a Garmin killer. I wouldn't go that far. It doesn't have all of the features that Garmin has. However, it has everything that you'd want it to have for a fraction of the price. It looks a lot like a Casio G-Shock shaped and design. However, it has all of its own nice features and design style choices, which I honestly like a lot more. I don't know about you, but the Casios just, they don't do it for me. Garmin, obviously the Fenix, the special orange edition, that would be nice to have, but that's not in the budget for everybody. And is it really needed? Does it live up to the hype, is the question I have. Everybody's speaking about the Amazfit T-Rex 3, so I went and I put this watch to the test over the last 3 weeks. So let's start off with what is undeniably the most important aspect of a smartwatch, how it looks. It is an accessory after all. Amazfit went full on into the rugged outdoorsy look with a large 48mm octagonal frame, giving it heavy G-Shock vibes, especially with 4 navigation buttons and this high-vis orange silicone strap. Now, I know this isn't the design style for everybody, and that is a you thing. If you don't like the rugged look, you can also go back to your Apple Watch. Now, what's really nice about this watch is the customizability of it. You can use any 22mm strap and attach it to this watch. You don't have to use their proprietary strap design silicone like other watches. You can really just head out and find something that you really like and slap it onto the T-Rex. Now, as for the build quality of this device, it has a 1.5-inch display that is covered in Gorilla Glass 3. And it's surrounded by a stainless steel bezel that helps take a lot of the brunt of the knocks that it will get. And touch wood, I haven't been able to scratch it yet, which is a good sign. Now, although the main body of the T-Rex 3 is made out of plastic, it still feels strangely sturdy and high quality. Now, speaking about the display of this device, it is an AMOLED panel with a max brightness of 2000 nits, meaning that you get a nice crisp color even in direct sunlight, making sure the text and the map data is really easy to read in pretty much any environment. The touchscreen is also really responsive and overall a pretty good touchscreen. Now, although it is a touchscreen device, you and I know when you're out and about running, hiking, cycling, rowing, you don't really have the time or the patience to mess around with a touchscreen, especially if there's water and dirt involved. So the 4 navigation buttons that it has is a very nice touch to the device, especially how tactile they feel. They have a little, it almost feels rubbery, but it's not really rubbery. It's a very nice button to click as well. Now, Amazfit went all in with the features of this device. It can operate in temperatures as low as -22 degrees Fahrenheit or -30 degrees Fahrenheit for the rest of the world. There's a built-in compass that is very accurate, and combined with the built-in air pressure, altitude sensor, GPRS sensor, you'll never get lost. Or technically, if you just know how to use the device, you never get lost. And you also won't have to worry about getting it wet either. While it isn't a scuba diving watch, it can still go up to 45 meters underwater. Now, I don't even know if I can go 6 meters underwater. I haven't tested that part yet, but you'll have to trust their word for it. They advertise it as to having up to 3 weeks of battery life, although that is probably a little bit more towards when you switch off all of the features. I got about 16 days out of it when I use my GPS often and my Bluetooth often and a bunch of the features that I just think makes the watch great. It is a massive upgrade from an Apple Watch because they only give me like 16 hours instead of 16 days. So great upgrade. Something that is a little bit strange about the Amazfit T-Rex 3 is the time it takes to charge. It takes about 2 hours to fully charge. Now, I don't know about you, but I like to have my watch on my wrist 24/7. I literally only charge my watch when I'm going for a shower, which is about 30 minutes. And that gives me at least 80% on the Apple Watch, which here, I never tested it actually. I just always charge it till it was full because I wanted the full capabilities of the watch. But I mean, 2 hours to a full charge, I hope they fix that in the next versions. Now, speaking about charging, what does come in the box is a really nice USB Type-C charger. So you just have to take the little adapter with you and find a USB Type-C cable somewhere, you're good to go. That is nice to have. The T-Rex 3 has got over 170 built-in sport modes that cover everything from skydiving to chess, for some reason, and even high rocks, which really cool. It also has a built-in coach that can help you get ready for a marathon, for example, by guiding you through your daily workouts, monitoring whether you're recovering fast enough, and if not, decreasing the intensity of your workouts. It's an AI-based system, which this watch has, by the way. I'll tell you more about it now. But it's still really cool, and if you don't have any information on how to train, it does help quite a bit. I played around with it a bit, but it wasn't that cool for me because, well, I am a coach. I coach people for a living. I have a company called Be Active, which sometimes sponsors We Do Tech, and we help people get to their goals, weight loss goals, fitness goals. It's private one-on-one coaching. If you're looking for a custom-written workout plan, meal plan, an app, workouts, and a coach, I'll leave the information down below if you want to check us out. I'd love to help you get to your goals. But this isn't a sponsored section. It's just, hey, that's what I do other than reviewing tech. Now, I took this watch to the gym as well, just to be sure that I tested in multiple different environments. And one thing that I did notice is because I have such small wrists, it does get in the way every now and again when I'm doing some weightlifting. It's just because it is a big and bulky watch. It's not as big and bulky as the Fenix, for example. However, it is still a big and bulky watch, and you have to take that into consideration. What's nice about the watch is it tracks every movement as well, every rep tracked. The accuracy thereof is meh. Sometimes when I do 12 reps, it measures 11 or 13, but it's still somewhat accurate, like most of these watches. None of these watches are ever accurate enough with counting reps. It's just an interesting thing to have. When it measures your distance ran or cycled or your heart rate responses, that's where it's really accurate at, because that's what it's really good at. However, something like counting the reps, you just have to do that for yourself. If you can't count to 12, what are you even doing? What's really cool about the Amazfit 3 as well is its functionality to connect to external Bluetooth sensors like heart rate monitors and monitors for your bicycles and a bunch of things like that. So if you are looking for an integratable system, the T-Rex 3 is going to help you with that. The T-Rex 3 obviously also has everything that a smartwatch has. For example, it can show you messages, it can notify you about your calendar appointments, and then it has something special. It has a built-in voice assistant based on ChatGPT 4.0 that can reply to your texts for you and that can search for a workout that you're looking for you, and which is an interesting thing. And what that brought with the design for this watch is a microphone. Now you'd think, oh, it has a microphone, so I'd be able to make calls. No, because it doesn't have a speaker. One decent selling point of this watch is the offline downloadable maps. You can download maps for almost everywhere and you don't have to pay for them. They're free. It's really cool. It also tracks things like your speed and your pace and the altitude and a bunch of things that fitness watches should track, and it tracks it really accurately. Other metrics that it tracks is things like your blood oxygen levels, your body temperature levels, which can predict which part of your cycle you're in. If you're a female, it can also predict whether you're getting sick or not. Technically, it should be able to. It doesn't, but it should be able to, because your temperature rises when you get sick. I digress again. Some of these measurements are more accurate than others. However, they are trustworthy as it gets with smartwatches. I wouldn't say that I've noticed a very big difference between the measurements my Apple Watch gave me, the measurements my Garmin gave me, and the measurements this T-Rex 3 gave me. Yeah, the Apple Watch is a little bit out, but it's not a fitness watch. It's not a watch specifically designed for things like what the T-Rex 3 is designed for. Overall, I think the Amazfit T-Rex 3 is a very good value for money type of device. It gives you everything you're looking for in a smartwatch, specifically for fitness tracking, at a decent price. It's not a cheap watch. It's also not a very expensive watch. It is a great competitor for a Garmin, specifically on design and functionality. It just lacks a few small things that might be a deal breaker for you. I don't know. This was Stefan from We Do Tech. I'll see you in the next video. This is Stefan, out.